Hello, hello. Welcome to a separate office edition of TMI Wednesdays. Thank you for joining us here tonight. I'm happy to be here. I got some really good topics I'm going to go over tonight. I've had a really busy week. Dog sitting also. That's why I'm in this office, and you'll probably see Atlas will stroll in here in a second. So that's what I'm doing here. And there he is right now. Sorry. I've had a very, very busy day. That's why I wasn't here yesterday. I'm here today. But we got a good lineup. I talked to my producer, Shake Money, before the show, and we got a really good lineup for you tonight. We've had a lot of sports happen. We had the new year happen. So the last episode was the last episode of last year. And now we're on the first episode of the first month of the year. I was trying to go something with that. But anyways, oh, look, my man Ali the Persian showed up. I didn't even know he was going to be on here. I saw a little bit of the chat about it, but I didn't know. How, speaking of college football, how he's doing right now. I don't know. Something's going on with you, Ali. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Very good, very good. I'm okay, man. It's been a very surprising college football year. So
we're gonna get into that too. Thank you for everybody in the comments already. Thank you to Shake for producing the show here tonight. Thank you for Lee for joining us, and I'm ready to get started. What you think?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. NFL. So we had some crazy.
I got my dog too right here. Look, by the way, Junior.
That's a. Hold on.
Spaniel,
That is. I forgot, but I know Cap used to have dogs like that.
Well, he has one. He has a Springer Spaniel. This is.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. So a Springer and a Cocker Spaniel, right?
Yeah.
Man, I feel like I'm the only one that has a dominant dog.
Is what we just had. So sorry, I'm just making sure I'm on the same week. So yeah, so week 17 of NFL, and I got some really good notes. Let me just look one up real quick. Let's see. So the Dallas game was really good. It was a pretty good game. Hutchinson on Dallas defense. He was going after the quarterback a lot. That was I noticed that. And I think that was the same guy. Hold on. Oh no, Ferguson on Dallas. So did y'all see that when there was a little scuff up? And the guy, there was a guy so there was someone on. So who did Dallas play?
The Lions.
The Lions. So there was someone on the Lions that was messing with the Dallas player. And the Dallas player nudged Ferguson. And Ferguson went up and pushed the guy. And the announcers were saying that's what they have Ferguson do, was stand up if somebody on the other team is being a bully. They all call on Ferguson to go handle the bully. And I was like, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
By the way, that is a Gangsta Boo shirt, Joe Rist.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, and we're going to get to that at the end of the show. There's a reason why I wore it, which hopefully you all know why. There's a reason why I wore it tonight. And the other place I wore this shirt was pretty cool too. So this is actually my second time wearing it. But I bought a couple of them last year after she passed away. Because I was hoping I'd get to meet her. I mean, I've met so many, I've met other members of Hypnotized Minds and stuff, but I didn't get a chance to meet Gangsta.
I remember the first time I heard Gangsta Boo 3-6 Mafia was a Bone diss track. They dissed Bone at one time. Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Who's playing things?
Huh?
I'm hearing Progressive insurance commercials.
That's not me.
I hear it right now.
It's probably like the voices in your head. Maybe I don't know.
No, dude, it's like the thing from the commercial. She's like, it's a dog chase lounge, or it's a foot treadmill. Yo, who's doing that?
I'm playing. I'm on mute, bro. I'm on mute, so it's not me.
Why am I hearing that? What is going on here? Well, my microphone. So with this mic plugged in, I can't have speakers on. Like speakers won't work. Or like, yo, dude, stop messing around with me. Jake.
That wasn't me. What the hell are you talking about?
It was Scummy. He's admitting to it in the chat.
Yo, who am I hearing right now? Dude, somebody is playing. Can you hear that?
There's nobody in the back.
Dude, there's somebody having a conversation.
Really?
What are they saying?
Close all your windows. Are your windows closed?
Watch every Steelers game. Getting up into the 30s.
Your windows closed though. It could be something your windows.
It's fucking ESP. Hold on a second.
It's the website.
Hold on.
Shake Money. I was about to say maybe he's hearing voices like Randy Orton. Watch out, someone's gonna get RKO'd tonight.
They talk to me. I understand.
Why? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. It's fucking ESPN on the computer. I'm sorry, it's ESPN on the computer. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry, everybody. Like I put this on my computer earlier. Like when we were in the background talking, this was not talking, and it just started talking all of a sudden. So that's why it like surprised me, because it's been on for like 10 minutes and it just started talking. Sorry.
Okay, what's your fascination?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, what is that question, dude? Like, why are you asking me? Oh, because I'm babysitting the dog sitting. I was wondering why he was asking me that question. All right. Anyways, what was I getting into?
We were talking about the Lions and the Cowboys.
Oh, I was just talking about the dude like who handled all the bullies on the Dallas team. It reminded me when I was in high school. I was a freshman, and I didn't know very many people, and I wasn't a very big person. And this dude started messing with me. I think he was on the baseball team or something like that. I don't know what it was, but he was messing with me, and I really couldn't do much, and I'm not going to tattletale. So I actually went and told this dude I know who was going into the Army, and he was like, yo, get that guy to come over here. And when he gets here, I'll threaten the hell out of him. So I got the guy to follow me, right? And the dude got in his face, started cursing and threatening and just saying all this crazy stuff to the guy. And the guy was just like, and I never saw the dude again. I was like, yes. I wish I knew who that dude was that stuck up for me. I don't remember his name. I was a freshman. He was a senior. But he was going into the Army, so he definitely turned out to be a badass. And he's like a good dude going into the Army. You know what I mean? Not that bad people going to the Army, but it's
okay, so you got bullied by somebody on the debate team.
It's okay, Tonk. Michael K got bullied by someone on the choir.
He got bullied by a conditioner commercial.
Damn.
So, all right. I got up a list of the games that were on. That Cowboys game and Lions game was crazy. Of course, the Dolphins game and the Ravens. Whew, man. So that's 2 playoff teams in a row that the Ravens just beat. 2.
And by the way, Brock Purdy and Tua made the Pro Bowl.
How many quarterbacks can make the Pro Bowl?
Did they actually make the Pro Bowl, or they're not just like, is he opting out or what?
According to the ESPN report, I have it right here. That Brock Purdy and Tua were the first ones to make the Pro Bowl.
So how do they? I mean, they obviously go off statistics, right? I've never looked into who gets actually selected.
Fan voting is one way.
That's cool. How many of each position get into the Pro Bowl?
And what?
How many players of each position can get into the Pro Bowl?
I think 3, I believe.
Oh, okay. Tua and Brock Purdy. I mean, it's got to be Lamar Jackson the third. Mm-hmm. So it would be well.
Brock Purdy is.
But they would make. So they would have 3. But let's say that 2 of those players are in the Super Bowl. I mean, 2 of those players, they could both.
So what happens if 2 of them go to the Super Bowl, then they get an alternate.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So they would be the next person up, whoever, was number 4 and 5.
Yeah. That's how, because I believe that's how what's his name? Because Patrick Mahomes was in the Pro Bowl. Then, obviously he went to the Super Bowl. So Lamar Jackson's backup made it to the Pro Bowl.
And it's 3 of them. It's three per people per position, but per team though, right? Because like for example, Lamar and Tua would be on the AFC side, and then you have Brock Purdy on the NFC, and whoever else would follow him, which probably, in my opinion, would be Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott, probably.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that they moved the Pro Bowl to before the Super Bowl instead of after. It's made it a lot more exciting, even though the game isn't really all that exciting. I think that the fact that they made it before the Super Bowl made a big difference as far as consumerism.
If they really want to make the Pro Bowl exciting, they should just make a AFC versus NFC UFC MMA fight. I would definitely pay to watch that.
They wouldn't do that.
Why not? I would definitely pay. Imagine how many millions of dollars you could make, billions probably, because people worldwide be watching that.
What? No. If they really want ratings, what they should do is put 5 landmines in different locations
around the field.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. I was being kind of serious about the MMA fight, though. I would love to see that. I'd love to see some of these
after
players
they retire. They'll fight Jake Paul. UFC fight.
Yeah.
No. Maybe I would rather see gladiators.
See, he wants to see Aaron Donald just take a helmet and start bashing heads with it. That's what
he wants to see. He wants to see. What's his name? Who swung on Mason Rudolph?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, hold on. Speaking of Mason Rudolph, did you guys hear that news about Pickett, by the way?
No.
Yeah, they're choosing him over Mason Rudolph.
No. Basically, Pickett. It's the other way around. This is what ended up happening. So Pickett refused to be the backup of Mason Rudolph. And then in turn, they made him a healthy, inactive scratch because of it. So that's kind of crazy, to be honest.
Well, that's similar
But
to what's going on in Denver.
yeah,
That's so crazy what's going on in Denver. Drama, that has to suck to be a part of drama in sports. Like he say, she say stuff. You can always, it's always to the, it's always a team that's not doing that well. They always end up hating each other at the end of a season.
this is true.
Oh yeah, and by the way, and what you could do is on the sidelines, you dig trenches and put and like a moat, like 2 moats with alligators. So if somebody pushes you out of bounds, that's it.
I take my chance with the alligators over landmines any day. Go right ahead, push me off. Saying. I grew up in Florida.
That's true.
Trench warfare. We got trench warfare out there. They're called canals. Crazy. This season has been so insane with sports.
I love Scummy.
He can beat Tua. Kenny Pickett? No, he's not better than Tua. No. This season has been crazy. This season has just been all over the place. The Packers are looking really good, though. The Packers. That's what I want to talk about tonight. Was the Packers? Okay, they got Jordan Love is their starting quarterback this season, and they're 8-8 right now, and they're on a good side of 8-8. And then this is so, I guess the word might be trivial, or it's kind of following in line to like what the Packers have always been.
Sorry.
It's starting with Bart Starr, and then Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now Jordan Love. I'm not saying Jordan Love is any of those 3 quarterbacks, but would be. I think that season's over right now. And what's so funny about WNBA? I bet you that dude's never even been to a professional basketball game before. And he's going to talk about the WNBA.
One thing about Jordan Love is a key name to a lot of Tuaneers. I'm talking about the diehard Tuaneers.
Why? Because that's who we picked over.
No, because reports came out finally that it wasn't Herbert that Flores wanted. It was Jordan Love. He wasn't going to take Jordan Love, but here's the thing: he didn't want Jordan Love at 5. He wanted him at where he got picked, because remember that was Miami's pick essentially, where Jordan Love was picked at. You know what I'm saying? I think.
Yeah, I didn't see. I don't ever really watch the draft.
I don't know who he was going to pick at 5, but essentially he wanted Jordan Love as the quarterback.
Hey,
so a lot of Tuaneers want Jordan Love to fail, so they were like, "Oh, look."
If Tuaneers, for whatever reason, if that's why you want someone to fail, then you should just go away.
Yeah,
just go away. If that's how you feel about something, all because of that, that's like still being mad at Nick Saban. It's funny when Daniel Tosh picks jokes at Nick Saban about it, but that's like a joke, not just being pissed off and hating. It is what it is. We got to deal with it. So, I mean, I'm not liking our head coach for the Buccaneers. How much I can really do about it, though, and I'm not going to start complaining and comparing him to Tony Dungy or Bruce Arians. Let's compare him to Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is an amazing head coach. We just got to deal with what we got, right? It's what we got is what we got.
Yep.
But it's nice to see it. Like, it's nice to see an organization like Green Bay have that substantial, sustainable growth as it's a culture there. You know what I mean? And then the Vikings are just all over the place too. Texans.
Damn.
Good. What? What'd he say? Headed to Waffle House.
Scummy's on fire today.
It could be a Waffle House that makes a lot of money. Right there off I-75. Right there between Georgia and Florida. Boom.
Let me ask you guys something about the Packers, though. And I see a lot of like the Twin Years have hate for Jordan Love and whatnot. What do you think of the Jordan Love experiment? It's been what, 3-4 years now since he's been drafted, and we've only got to see him this season actually playing. Do you think it's still too soon to actually have like how do I put this? Do you think it's way too soon to be thumbs down on him? Like, should we still give him another year to really make that evaluation? What do you guys think?
I don't think so at all, because this is exactly how the Packers operate. Aaron Rodgers sat under Brett Favre for years. And then Brett Favre left, and he was a great quarterback. This is how I think every organization. Honestly, I hate when they throw rookies out there their first season. Look what's going on in the Panthers. They're 2-14. Bryce Young it's too much. It's too much. This is what I mean. This is why I brought up Bart Starr, because they've been doing this since before the Super Bowl existed. Bart Starr won, I think, two before the Super Bowl, and then he won 1 and 2. And then, all right, Brett Favre, then Aaron Rodgers, and they did the same exact thing. Because there's not very many other things to do up there except football.
Yeah, I understand. Let me ask you this though: how many years did it take for after he started playing consistently and was the starter? How many years did it take for Aaron Rodgers to really, blow up the way that he did? Was it 1 year, or was it 2 years, or was it a couple?
I don't remember. When was it when he won the Super Bowl?
And by the way, Q, that's not narratives, what I'm saying, because the only reason I know that's not narratives is because on Dolphins social media, when Jordan Love had a bad stint, a bad stretch of games, and when he did have those bad stretch of games, you see all over Dolphins social media, you see Jordan Love. This is the guy that Flores wanted.
Yeah, and do understand, Q. We're not equating you to the like the real true Twin Years, because you can be objective. They were talking about the people that will blindly say whatever they want just to be down on whoever the other person is. Yeah, besides Tua, that's what we're talking about. But go ahead, Tonk. I didn't mean to talk.
Aaron Rodgers was for the first 3 years of his NFL career, he was a backup. And he became a starter in 2008, and in 2010 was when he won a Super Bowl.
Okay, so it took him
3. Yeah. 2008, 2009, 2010.
Yeah, so it took him about 3 years to really blow up. Okay, so I'm going to give Jordan Love the 3-year experiment. This is year 1. He has 2 more years. If he doesn't show anything, then he's that's where I'm at with Jordan Love. Like, I'm not trying to say he's good or bad or anything, but I'm just curious because this is really his first year as a starter. I mean, should we already be thumbs down on him? Has he shown any promise? Sometimes he does. I mean,
I'm the one saying he's good. I just said 8-8 on a good side.
No. I'm talking about the people out there is what I'm saying. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people out there.
I mean, I haven't seen much buzz about him that's negative. I guess earlier in the season, I think there was a lot more hate or judgment towards him. But 8-8 is not bad. Your first season in the NFL and you're 8-8. Now, if they go 8-9 or 9-8, I think will be significant. Who do they play last? The Lions. So so week 18, they play the Bears, which could go either way. The Bears are 7-9, and the same thing with the Bears. I think they're having for their quarterback is he a sophomore? Is this his second season?
The Bears, no, they've had him for what, 3 or 4 seasons now, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's his third or fourth season. Don't quote me on that.
They've been up and down.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it's back 9-8, I think he's on a good path. A winning season, your first season in NFL, you can't hate on that. And seeing it from the Packers is timely to how they accomplish things in the past. I mean, 2 years. I mean, you get a couple more good players around him, wide receivers, running backs. I mean, he could really tear it up. I'm curious to see how that works. We got the Browns Bengals next week. That's going to be good. Lions are going to I don't know. These division games are tricky. You know, like the Vikings could pull it out against the Lions. I wouldn't doubt it. But I think the Buccaneers will still win. I think they're going to be in the playoffs.
You know, I know we try to, you know, mostly on TFTG we talk about the Dolphins, but I want to talk about the Browns real quick. You brought them up. They're playing the Bengals, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine the Browns taking care of business against the Bengals, right? And then somehow ending up being in, I'm not saying that we're not going to make it because I still support my team and I'm always going to say we're going to be there. But let's say if we don't for whatever reason, and it ends up being Browns versus Ravens in the AFC championship game, right? If it's possible, you know, I'm not sure how people line up
now
or anything. If it's possible, let's say it's possible. The Browns is one of those teams that I think they've beaten Lamar Jackson before, right?
They beat him every season.
Yeah, so that will be a really interesting game to see what happens. You know what I'm saying? And imagine that's like a revenge game, right? Because
I mean,
the Browns being moved to. Well, I hear you, but wouldn't that also be a revenge game because of the Browns' previous ownership is now the Ravens' ownership kind of thing because they moved the team out of Cleveland, so it's almost like a revenge game at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
A long time ago, though.
Well, yeah, I hear you, but I'm talking about like in a grand stage of things. You know, that's what I'm talking about.
Honestly, AFC Championship, I'm taking Joe Flacco.
Yeah, that's what I'm with you too. And I know it sounds crazy because it's Joe Flacco.
I've been on it since 2021. Cap and I even got in because it was funny. It was right when this podcast started and Flores just got fired.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was sure about Tua, and then all that crap with Deshaun Watson. And I'm like, and they're, you know, and people were like, "Oh, we want Deshaun in Miami." I'm like, I won't support Miami if he goes to Miami, and that's why I brought up Joe Flacco. I said we should get Joe Flacco over Deshaun. I said if I had to choose, I would choose Joe Flacco. And people were like, "No way, he's washed up. He's washed up." I'm like, "No, he's not. Put him in a good situation. He's gonna do good, and he did." So, and it's funny because that's where Deshaun Watson went, but I don't know. If he ain't playing, I'm not upset about it. So, and I didn't know Joe Flacco was on the Browns. I've been wanting him to be a starter again for a while. So, if this is what it had to take, it's what it had to take. But I think the Browns and the Ravens, I think, are the best teams in the AFC. I'm not sure about the Dolphins anymore. It's hard. It's hard. It's really hard. But I think maybe the Dolphins are like the fourth. We'll see how they do against the Bills. The Bills are on the upswing. Bills are on the upswing right now. And I know you don't want to hear it, Ali, because you already told me how you feel about the Bills. But this is a big game. We still make the playoffs, but it'll just be the seeding that'll change. We'll go from like 1 to what, 4?
Let's not make any mistake about it. This is a big game for both parties, not just the Miami Dolphins, Not
because the
just
Bills
for
have to win in order to get into the playoffs.
well, not just that. The Bills have to win, period, because it's been a running joke that every year, oh, we're going to be the Super Bowl favorites, and they just fizzle out and burn. So not only do they have to win tomorrow, right? They have to go into the playoffs and actually win. Otherwise, it's the same old story
Damn,
over and
look
over
at the
again.
ticket prices right now. Remember we were talking about
Yeah,
that before. Look, Seahawks at Cardinals, $19.
it's ridiculous. Did you hear what the least expensive game this year I saw was
Buccaneers at
$6?
Panthers is $13. Come on, man.
Yeah, the lowest was $6, and that was Commanders versus the Jets.
Next year, I'm gonna look to see if there's
Hey,
any
look, hey,
games
do me a
here.
favor. Look up the Dolphins Buffalo game, please.
This is ridiculous. There's no way there's ever going to be tickets that cheap here in Seattle for an at-home game for Seattle. There's no way. I've seen on what I do for a living, in my environmental science career, I've seen when I'm working on a project and I request information, sometimes I request purchase receipts. And on these purchase receipts, I've even seen the charges that happen from operating in this city and having to pay the sports complex tax. And like all these other taxes for all the sports that we have here. It's crazy. But last week of football, this is it. Last week of regular season. It gets crazy after this. Who's on the upswing, who's barely making it in, who's on the downswing. The Eagles are definitely on the downswing right now. I don't know what is going on with them. It sucks. I think it has a lot to do with their defensive coordinator. Why did they make a change like that in the middle of the season? I think that was it's not a good thing. It's such a desperate move and it's affected the team. There's another team that did that recently. I think a college team. Wasn't it one of the top 10 teams? They changed their coordinator mid-season, and then they lost after that. But it is what it is. Good season in NFL, though. I like the. It's just all over.
I want to say the Bills actually changed out 2 coordinators this season, if memory serves me right.
Damn. That's crazy. I mean, does it happen? Does it happen a lot? I guess I've never noticed that if it happens often. It's got to be
the Eagles hired Matt Patricia, and then Desai ended up getting put in the booth. That happened.
All right. Well, I think that's enough of the NFL. What we got next? Oh, no. Hold on. Yeah. I remember that was a separate item. What I think we have next. I'm pretty sure. Yes. I was so excited about this. And I was watching whatever channel Jimmy Johnson is on. Is that Fox? I think Fox is the channel he's on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the pregame or whatever the shows, the halftime shows and stuff. So I was watching when he got announced for the NFL Hall of Fame. I was watching it live, like when he first got notified about it. And I thought that was really, really cool. I've never seen anything like that happen live. And then now, I mean, I think it was a couple seasons ago, but now he gets inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor. Let's see. Definitely overdue. And that was cool. Did you watch that? Did you watch the ceremony? When they had Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman, a couple other players I can't name. And then of course Jimmy Johnson giving the speech. But that was the team that I remember my mom, like I remember specifically a certain game. Emmitt Smith had the ball and it was snowing, and he like fumbled the ball and he was like trying to chase after it. And my mom was like, get it, get it. It was like one of my earliest memories of like football and my mom. So it was really, really nice to see that, because it was that same, that same team that made the Dallas Cowboys the team, America's team, what they accomplished. So that was really cool. And you can see how much it meant to them. And whatever the reasons are, it took so long. I don't know. It's drama, but it was really cool. I'm really happy for him. I like seeing stuff like that, because he's one of the few coaches that have won in the NFL and in college, which I can't even imagine how difficult that is. But it was really cool. And that game was also about, like, these teams this season are just so second half, and that game was also a second half team kind of game. But I do have a question about that game. They said there was a play that happened, and it said it was a go-ahead touchdown. What does that mean? A go-ahead touchdown.
That's a good question.
I could have Googled it, but I figured I'd ask you. I'll be honest. I thought I'd be on Tuesday when everybody
maybe it's an obvious touchdown.
Go ahead touchdown. Meaning you took the lead. Oh, go ahead of the other team.
Yeah. The go ahead touchdown.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just because they say things doesn't mean that people understand. And I'm one of those people. That's why I ask, right? Now everybody watching knows that. Oh, and that's what another thing I wanted to, so I got really, really good feedback a few days ago from a friend of mine who started watching the show. And he said it's like at first he was skeptical. He didn't really know what was going on. But he told me, and it might have been the last episode where Cap and I were kind of going back and forth on topics. Like I would say something, and Cap had a lot to say about it. And it's my friend Steve, and he called me, and he said he's watched a couple episodes. But he said it really liked, like when we went into a topic and how we talked about things. He likes sports, but he's not really big into sports. And he said that while he was watching, that he was able to understand what we were talking about, even though he's not a big sports fanatic. And to me, like, that is exactly 100% the type of compliment I am trying to get, is people can just from anywhere watch the show and understand what we're talking about and feel like they can also participate and have opinions and facts and stuff like that, kind of make them feel, because when why I say that is because I am an award-winning educator, so I understand how important it is to explain things properly to where people understand them, because when someone doesn't understand something and you can really help them understand that, it makes a big difference in their life. And so I try to bring that to every application I have with podcasts, my science career, music, or anything I do. Really, I like to be able to have people fully understand what I'm saying. And so I'm glad that I can bring that to y'all, and I'm happy that it is being received that way. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you. All right, what we got next? Shake. All right, so we had the playoff games. We had the FSU game. Woo! Man. Should FSU been in the top 4? No.
Let's correct one thing. Number one, when Georgia Bulldogs plays second and third string players, that doesn't count. Sorry.
Yeah, but there were Bulldog players that stayed out too, right? I think there was like a total.
Players. Not as much as FSU players, though.
Regardless, though, 89-3. It's didn't you post a picture? Didn't you all post a picture in the chat that showed how many players of each team sat out? Or was that somewhere else I saw it? Because I seen an image. I seen an image of which team of each team and how many players either sat out or went into the transfer portal or all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot from each team. And there was a lot of that happened for every bowl game. It's something that it looks like it's just something that is going to be part of college football for the foreseeable future. Because you can't the transfer portal is not going anywhere. Nope. And then that decision to go to the NFL ain't going anywhere. And I say this because just like Kirby Smart said, all right, we're going to have 12 next season. What about 13 and 14? Are they going to cancel out on their team because they didn't make it in? And as much as I understand and support somewhat those decisions, at the same time, if you're getting paid to play and then you're just going to go ditch and play and go somewhere else or whatever, you should have to play. I mean, you should play for your team. You've been playing for them all season.
Yeah, back in the day, man, those games used to mean something. You know what I'm saying? But now it's just a preseason game. You know what I mean?
Oh, you said that the other day, a preseason game.
It's like a preseason game. These bowl games are preseason games now. That's pretty much what they are. You're pretty much seeing next year's crop. That's what you're seeing. Next year's
team. Okay. I see what you're saying now. Because it's this, it's this is what's called cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
We initiated this new system, and this is the aftermath. But it was still a move in the right direction.
Damn right, Scummy.
Any variances, they'll figure it out. I mean, we got to figure out something. Maybe like if you're going to get paid, then you have to play every game. Because I don't know the other reasons why they sat out, whether it was because they didn't make it into the playoffs or because they're going into the draft or because they're going into the transfer portal. I don't know any other reasons, but I think that, like, hey, if we're paying you, you can't just dip out at the end of the year because you don't like how we ended up number 13. I mean, there has to be some kind of ownership, or what was the word I was thinking of? I was saying maybe responsibility, but I mean, unless this is just the way it's going to be, if this is the way it's going to be, then we need to prepare for that. Like if we know that all these starters and all these players are not going to be here at the end of the season, well, maybe we should just adjust to that. If that's the way y'all going to be, we're going to adjust it so that so it doesn't affect us.
Because you're talking about players opting out of bowl games and stuff like that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's been going on even before the NIL deals.
Yes.
So that's always been a thing.
But this year, it seems like it was really.
I mean, to be fair, look, Ali, it has been, but only if it's players like for instance, one or two players that think that they're going to go in the first or second round.
Well, yes, it happened, but it wasn't to this magnitude.
Hasn't been to this degree.
Well, first of all, in regards to transfer portaling, just so you're aware, I think there's a rule when you're going to transfer and you've accepted I think you can't play for that team anymore. You're automatically on that other team at that point.
Right.
So I think that's part of it. But in regards to players, opting out. It's always happened. It's just they didn't really talk about it at all. And the thing is that I don't blame them. If you know you're like, for example, here's a player that's was part of my favorite college team, and that's Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. is slated to be a top 3 to top 5 player in the draft. He will probably go top 5 in my opinion. And I understand why he would not want to risk it. That is a big payday, a big magnitude you could lose by getting injured, right? Whereas somebody that's in the second to third or even lesser round projection, they need to play to get paid. They need to play that extra game to show what they got so they can sneak into the end of the first round pick. So I understand why those slated top 10 players, no matter what, are gonna opt out. But if you know you're a second round pick, bro, and everywhere else has you projected, why the heck are you opting out? That is a good question.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like instead of trying to, I'm just saying go with the motion of what's happening. If this is how it seemed to happening at the end of the season, everybody bails, or this this certain, let's say, the sample size that we have is either going into the draft or transfer portal or something like this, and then look at like which players are actually doing it, how old are they? Like, I don't know. There's logistics about this that could be studied, and just try to make a change for the end of the season. Like, hey, we're estimating that this many players are not going to play. We can get these players in. I don't know. I'd rather see, because it's just going to be a lot of back and forth if they try to change things. Like, what are you going to do? You already made it so free for these players. It's not going to work if you go backwards. So just adjust, and then make it on the players. Like, if you don't want to play, we're going to find somebody else. So there's lots of ways to deal with this, but I think something needs to do, because it's just like, we had all this and then it just goes.
I think there should be more limits on the portaling, the transfer portaling, and what's going on with that, because people are using that as a free agency, and I hate that.
Yeah, even Kirby Smart was like, "Look, we shouldn't have played this team. We should have this team did not come here to try to win."
Yeah,
like he was like, "Look, we just destroyed the hell out of it." It's like, if the top. This team, they're like, if there was 5 or if there were 6 teams that got in the playoffs, Georgia would have been one of them, and he was the last national championship. So the head coach, the last 2 national championships, is telling you something straight up, like, this is a messed up system. You got to pay attention to it.
I mean, I'll give you an example, and this guy just played in a semifinal, right? Not a lot of people know this, but Quinn Ewers, opted to go to college early and signed with Ohio State, right?
You're talking about the Texas quarterback, right?
Yes, he was there one season, and first of all, when he finally opted to go to Ohio State, he missed like all of training camp, and it was like the tail end of training camp that he got in, right? So he goes to Ohio State, was there one season, and then instantly jumps ship and goes to Texas. And guess what happens? He double dips on the NIL money. He's double dipping on Ohio State NIL money and Texas NIL money. And I think that's messed up, bro.
Yeah,
I think it's okay if you're transferring, like, and you're a 5th-year senior, or maybe you're a senior, a 4th-year senior, and like there's 2 people or a person ahead of you, and you're not going to start. I'm okay with that at that point, because you stuck out like the 4 years or whatever. But if you're a player that, you're a freshman, and they redshirted you the first year, or you didn't get to play the first year, I don't want to see you be able to just jump ship and go into whatever school. And someone else also needs to educate players on what school they go to. Ohio State's starting quarterback, whatever his name is, because I don't even care at this point, decided to opt out. Was all this buzz about him going to an SEC school, or maybe becoming Miami Hurricanes' next quarterback and everything. All in the hold. Where did he go? Syracuse, of all places. Really? That's an epic fail, in my opinion. You just
Syracuse. Yeah. Is he going to go play basketball? Because I don't know if they have a football program there that's anymore.
They do. They had a running back last year that got drafted. That's pretty good. But I don't know. It's just you went from a big time program to a program that I don't really think is really prime time.
Exactly. Well, because you got paid a lot of money.
Yep.
It's and I'm not judging. Like when I talk about this stuff, I'm not judging. This is what they've been granted, and they're taking advantage of it.
Well, as a matter of
this
fact,
guy is, he's when tax time comes around, just make sure you're paying your taxes when you're going to all these universities and not buying a whole bunch of cars.
Donovan McNabb went to Syracuse.
But
hey,
that
listen,
was
I remember there's a guy, his name was DJ Ungrelli, whatever. I remember him because I did the I did players of some Polynesian descent with Q. He was a name that I brought up, and he started off at USC, no, Oregon. Was it USC or I forgot what it was. I think it was USC. Then he went to Oregon State. Now he's at FSU. So that's 3 schools
that's
in a row.
Michael Penix Jr. He played for Illinois. He played for Illinois for 2 seasons, and then he came to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that. There's no issue.
I mean, this is his third school. FSU is going to be his third school.
Scummy made a good point. I forgot. Is this true? Donovan McNabb went to Syracuse. Is that accurate?
But just because one good player came out of there doesn't mean they have a
we're talking about consistent big time drafted players.
Remember,
I would never put Syracuse against any SEC team.
There you go.
What about look at the Sun Devils? Who was that? Jerry Rice came out of the Sun Devils.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. But Jerry Rice, I don't think actually turned around and transfer portaled all over the place, to be honest.
Just like Big Ben came out of Miami of Ohio.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it's like where did Patrick Mahomes go to college?
Texas Tech.
Okay. But all right, well,
I don't know. I really thought the
competitive though. Texas Tech is done a pretty good job of staying.
Zach Thomas came out of
They
Texas
had what's his name? They had that wide receiver.
Zach Thomas.
No, that's not a what. That's a
no. I'm saying though, Zach Thomas, Texas Tech.
Who was the wide receiver?
Wes Walker went to Texas Tech.
Yep.
2007, 2008. He had a really, really long name. And they beat Texas that season.
Who's the receiver that used to play for the 49ers went to Texas Tech?
Crabtree.
Yeah, Crabtree went
Crabtree. That's all I was talking about. Michael Crabtree. Crabtree. The season he played at Texas Tech, or one of the seasons, they beat Texas, and it was a really big game. And it was a badass catch that he made that helped win that game.
Oh, Leonte Carew. Leonte Carew came
so
from Syracuse.
All right, so all right, just taking some notes from this weekend. Let's see. So that last drive in the fourth by Michigan, that was crazy.
That whole game was crazy.
That game was just insane. That game was just awesome. It was a good game.
And Saban,
and I think he got outcoached. Saban got outcoached.
Yeah, he did.
He did. Yeah. He made mistakes. Like dude, this stat. Did you see that stat? Nick Saban in overtime, he's 7-10.
Oh, really?
7-10. That has to be the only stat of his that isn't winning. Give me any other stat that Nick Saban has that isn't like 320-20 or something.
I don't want to say that Nick Saban ultimately got outcoached, but what I will say is that that quarterback from Michigan did stuff that I hadn't seen in a long time.
So was that the game? Was that the game where the person who hikes the ball on Alabama was having a lot of trouble doing it?
Yeah, that's it.
Remember, they kept fumbling the ball.
Yeah.
And like in the freaking what's the center? The center is who hikes the ball. He's standing there going like this. It's like, dude, hike the ball and shut up. Like he was hiking the ball and it was on the ground or it was up here. And then he's standing around like this. He looked like the freaking emoji. I don't know what was going on with that game, but Alabama was they were just not with it. But I don't know. I mean, he's been good for so long and he's been the best for so long. The only time he wasn't great was when he was with the Dolphins. He was great at LSU. He was great at LSU.
Michigan State.
I didn't know him before LSU, but 7-10. That's a crazy stat for Nick Saban.
Wasn't Nick Saban at Michigan State for a hot minute?
Yeah, Michigan State. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was with
the Alabama Center.
Adam Gase. he was a grad for Adam Gase. Adam Gase
but not only is a head coach, the coaches that he's trained, Kirby Smart, Steve Sarkisian, wasn't he under Nick Saban?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Nick Saban was also a head coach at University of Toledo, where my dad graduated from.
And he won with the head coach of FAU. He was the head coach of Tennessee at one point in Ole Miss. Forgot his name. But yeah, that game was just crazy. The QBs, his balls kept getting tipped, and they were still catching them with running. And this game was crazy, running and blocking. This game, number 2 on Michigan, dude was just owning the Alabama's defense. And then number 23, Blue on Texas. Oh, okay. So now let's get to the Texas-Washington game. That was an awesome game. And I've gotten to see Michael Penix Jr. play 4 times in person. Did you see that? So number 23 on Texas, I said that he pulled a Tom Brady in the Super Bowl when he went to go throw the ball, when he went to go receive the ball and he kind of fumbled it, and he looked just like Tom Brady when he played against the Eagles. In that deflected pass and the catch to bring UW to 20, when it was deflected and the guy caught it and fumbled it a little bit in the end zone and then held on to it. That game was crazy. I can't wait for I don't like that they're going to 12 teams, but it's going to be crazy. Those are going to be some really, really good games.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be really, really good games. Yeah. And hopefully, honestly, I think that when they do go to 12 teams, it's going to help this unfortunate ending of the season. Because, you're 13, 14. Of course, those are the teams that only get reported that are in top 10, top 12. I don't know how many of the other 12 teams leave before the end of the season and don't play in the bowl games. But, now that I think of it, I do think that 12 system is going to help that outcome. It'll let the teams that are supposed to be in there, and then the other teams hopefully don't get affected as much. But it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And are they doing it? They're doing it all go. So if you have 12, it would be 6 versus 6, and then that would go to 6 teams. So do you have 2 teams that have a bye?
I don't think we have that information yet.
Because it's 12, so you.
Yeah, I would say you probably whoever the number 1 and number 2 team is.
Yeah, they have a bye.
Probably get the bye, and then everybody else plays it out. Yeah,
I think that's the way they should do it.
What I do think you might see, though, and this might affect the SEC or conferences that have multiple divisions, like for example, I want to say the Big Ten has. Well, let me give you an example. Hold on one second. Let me pull this up real quick. So, for example, the Big Ten, right? They have And actually, let me pull this up. Here it goes. Okay, so they have the East and the West, right? And there's different teams in the East and then the West. And Michigan and Ohio State are in the same same division. Yeah, same division of their conference, right?
Right.
Because we've added so many more teams, and so did the SEC. Don't be surprised if this year we see a shakeup just a little bit. You know what I mean? I could see conferences wanting to stack the deck that way. I could see them doing it.
I don't get what you're saying, though. What point are you trying to make here?
So, for example, because of how Ohio State and Michigan are in the same division, there's no way Ohio State and Michigan could play each other in a Big Ten championship game, right? It's gonna only one of them is gonna make it every year. It's a big chance that conferences will stack the deck by changing the teams that are in their divisions. So when they get to the playoff time, they have better representation.
Okay, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So
go ahead.
Well, so give the example of Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah. So, for example, Ohio State and Michigan would be their number 1 and number 2 team, or vice versa, in their conference, basically, when it's said and done.
Instead of 1 and 2 in the division. And then,
So then both of them would go to the playoffs, is what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying?
But how would that affect? But they would still need to play a championship game, right?
So, yeah, you would still play the championship game, but do understand, according to the new rules, right, it's the number 1 and number 2 team of each conference, right? So, for example, whoever plays each other in the championship game, both of those teams make the playoffs, regardless of who wins.
Yeah.
You with me so far?
And
so what I'm trying to say is that don't be surprised if conferences shake up everything.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Go ahead.
They shake up everything, right? Ohio State, Michigan play each other the last game of the season, and they're still 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because only one of them has a loss. They play each other the next week in the championship.
Yes. And both teams still make the playoffs.
and then they're going to play each other again in the playoffs.
Yeah, that could be like
what is this, NFL?
And I'm telling you, Michigan and Ohio State.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know if Lou Holtz will be able to handle that.
Yeah, someone might want to monitor it.
Like, we're going to have Ryan Day's playing against Michigan 3 times this season. All right, we're going to need to get Lou Holtz.
But just like in the SEC, don't be surprised if they do something. So,
dude, imagine if like Alabama has to play Georgia or 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. So that's all I'm saying.
I mean, and like it's crazy because Kirby Smart has beaten Nick Saban in the national championship, but he's never beaten him in the SEC championship. So he could beat him in he could lose in the SEC championship and then see him in the playoffs because they rarely play in the regular season.
Yeah.
It's not like Ohio State and Michigan, not even close.
Yeah.
So you would see that like with Georgia and Florida. But man, that would be crazy. And I think that's a good thing. I think it would the best representatives because we see this in bowl games all the time. We see like the number 1 team playing like the number 7 team in the bowl game and just destroy them.
Yeah.
And
but the reason I'm bringing it up only because is that based on how I'm looking at some of these new teams that are being added to the Big Ten, for example, just using them as an example, I have USC and I have Washington coming over. And just to be fair, even though they're not technically part of the Big Ten this year, technically Michigan is playing another Big Ten team.
Right now.
Right? So I can see in a sense that one of the divisions might be OP or overpowered than the other. Right. So that's why I think there might be a balancing act and you might see a little shuffle. They can still have Ohio State versus Michigan at the very last game of the season. It'd still be a rivalry, but then it also stands up to the point, we could have it again.
Yeah, the next week.
Yeah, so I'm just saying.
That would be cool. Dude, that would be insane to have them play 2 weeks in a row.
Well, if I was showing Shake Money and El Cap this, Ohio State's Michigan game, if you ever tried to buy tickets for it, it's like buying tickets for the Super Bowl, bro.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's over $500, and that's not a joke. So.
Oh no, I mean that's you want to talk about rivalry. I mean that's huge,
Yeah.
And that's I've been to a Knowles Gators game, and I bought tickets 10 days before the game. It's not the same as it's a big rivalry, but I don't know. Just those states that deal with a lot of snow, they usually have better rivalries than states that don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It is the way it is with football. It's I don't know. It's just the way it is. As far as like impact, on that weekend that it's played, that game is played, how big of an impact is it on, like, Michigan, Ohio State is way more televised. I mean, Florida and FSU is still televised, but there's a lot more people that watch the Michigan State Ohio State game.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan, Ohio State than Florida, FSU.
Yeah.
I mean, right now they're like 1 and 2 teams, but maybe I don't know. I still don't think it's the same.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. But it's all for me. I'm just looking at it, financially as well as how I can see conferences doing it, just to make sure that they have the best shot at whatever they think they're going to get out of the college playoff. Is basically.
I mean, absolutely. You want to send your best teams in there. You don't want to send the best team from the division.
I mean, to be honest, look at it this way: Iowa. Every year, it seems like Iowa or one of these off chance teams are winning the other side of the Big Ten every year, right? And whoever wins the East, which is the one that Ohio State and Michigan is, whoever wins that is usually the winner that goes on to winning the Big Ten, right? Every year, right? They need to have a balancing act. Let's give the West a chance, balance the teams out and go from there, especially when you're adding powerhouses like USC and Washington in the mix. And there's a chance that we might actually see, which I don't know if he declared it yet or not, but the quarterback of USC supposedly hadn't declared yet. Or did he declare? Do we know if he did or not?
For who?
The quarterback for USC.
Yeah, but declare for who?
For the draft.
Oh, I don't know.
Because there was a rumor going around that he was thinking about staying, and if he stays, he's playing in the Big Ten, and that'll be a really big difference in competition, in my opinion. The competition. The reason being is, though the Pac-12 may have had the best, some good quarterbacks and whatnot, they play a different style of defense, and it's a run-first type of conference for technically when it comes to the Big Ten. And when you have that and you can still be successful coming from a different conference, that's really big. That shows scouts and everybody and their mother what you're bringing. That can be weighed even better in your pocket when it comes to money. In fact, I want to say it's the kid from Michigan. He was successful at the Pac-12 as well, and able to do it in or what? Maybe it wasn't the kid from Michigan. I swear Blake Corbin played for somewhere else as well.
So did you see that? So Arch Manning is on Texas. He's a redshirt freshman.
Yep.
And they don't you're not allowed to interview freshmen.
Yeah.
Except for like a bowl game or something like that. So like everybody is like interviewing him and not even caring about the actual starting quarterback. I mean, dude, he has to be like one of the biggest prospects ever. We're talking LeBron James, because of his family, not because of what he's done, because of what his family has done.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really interested to see. Now he's going into the SEC, just like his family. That's crazy. That's so insane, dude. He goes to Texas and he's still going to play in the SEC like his.
I got a hot take for that. You ready for this?
Yeah.
So Quentin Ewers. What if Quentin Ewers just led your team, had back-to-back good seasons and just led your team to a college playoff? You think Arch Manning's going to be the starter right off the get-go? Or you think it's going to be
if Quinn is in there? If he's there, then no.
Yeah, I think I don't know if he's declared yet, but if he hasn't, I think he stays another season.
If he stays, I don't see them moving him out of the way of Arch. I'm not sure.
I just think
mean,
Arch Manning might actually. I know Texas fans are. Well, no, I think Arch Manning. Like, I know Texas fans are all high on him, but with the whole transfer portal thing happening, who knows? Maybe he transfers out, just like Quinn Ewers did back in the day.
That's what Joe Burrow did.
Yeah. Well, Joe Burrow was there for a good 2 years, and then he dipped out. But what I'm saying is, don't be surprised if that happens.
I wouldn't be surprised if Arch Manning dips out. I mean,
yeah,
it's different in college. That you want to start in college early. You don't want to start late in college. You want to start early. It's different than in the NFL.
Archie Manning. I'm sorry, not
Arch. ARCH.
It is Arch Manning.
Yeah, it's not Archie.
Somebody said
Archie was the original Manning. Was Archie. That was like the grandfather.
I think one of the reasons why he went to Texas is because it became an SEC school, because he wanted to play in the SEC.
Oh, okay.
Like his family, like everybody in his family.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know he was on that team. I knew about him. You know, I just knew that he existed.
I thought he was going to transfer.
I've never seen him play or anything, but I'm excited. I want to see, because that's hopefully he doesn't feel like he has a lot to live up to. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not good to pressure someone like that. I want him to have his own legacy if he's going to have one. I don't want it to be because his uncles. But at the same time, it's going to be cool to see how he compares to them. Especially because they didn't do, because when Peyton was in college, he lost every year to the Gators. And I didn't see Eli play. So I don't know how
Eli beat Florida 1 year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got to see Eli.
But the NFL is where they really where the real big impact of the Mannings have been so far. Their grandpa Archie, he was good in college. But, I mean, they were good in college. They just didn't win any championships.
Yeah. Tonk, Shake, thank you for having me, Tonk. I appreciate it. I have to step away because of family stuff I got going on. But I wanted to stop by and say thank you. And make sure you guys hit the like button, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell everybody all the great show that Tonk does. It's great stuff. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Fins up to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Ollie. See you later.
Definitely.
All right. What we got next?
All right. We have 5G helmet.
Oh, so this is really cool. I don't know what team it was, but I think it was during the playoffs they were talking about it. So one of the teams, there's a quarterback who's deaf. And the 5G helmet is this. It looks like a F5 starfighter thing where it's this little glass piece on his helmet that tells him the play that they want him to run. I don't know what the difference is with that and like something on your wrist. You know, I remember seeing Tim Tebow like pull the thing back and look at the plays. But as far as communication with the coaches and the coordinators, he doesn't have anything because he's deaf. So they made something that he can visually see. And they call it the 5G helmet. He's like, dude, is blind, not deaf. I forgot. I didn't get a chance to. Well, let me see, because I know I wrote 5G helmet. Yeah, I didn't see what team that was on, but it was during the Michigan game because that's where I have the notes. So it was during the Michigan-Alabama game. I don't know if it was on that team, but it was like it was a commercial for AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
But the helmet was real. It was just for AT&T commercial. But it was really funny because that same day I actually donated to a deaf organization. So that's got to be very challenging to be deaf or blind. That's got to be very challenging. I'd definitely rather be deaf than blind. But there's a lot of challenges with that. And I've learned, a friend of mine, her sister was deaf.
That is a good question. Deaf or blind? Damn.
Deaf. Definitely, dude. You can feel, even Beethoven went deaf. He could still make music because he just put his ear to the wall and listened to the bass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can feel You know what I mean? Like you can feel things.
I'll tell you what. Either way, you can't drive either.
No. Think about it like this. When I used to ride a motorcycle, I always wore headphones and played music because it tuned out everything around me. And I was able to focus on the road. And one of the ways I focused on the road was I felt the road. That's what made me a good motorcycle driver. Yes, you want to be able to hear things. Like I didn't have it too loud to where I can't hear things, but it helped me focus.
Well, but then again, you're a musician. Now you can't hear music.
So I would do much better in life without hearing than I will without vision. I mean, can you imagine? But it doesn't make a difference. I mean, there is a difference, but as far as the impact here and the significance of this, I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know why they haven't had anything like this sooner. Maybe it wasn't legal, like when they try to apply these things to sports leagues and stuff like that, it might not be legal. I'm not sure. They might have rules against it, but the fact that they have things like this, I think it's really cool. And it was cool because it showed like the play going across the dude's little screen. Hopefully the defender can't see. So they're going to have on the other side, they're going to have defenders that have like magnifying glasses on their lenses so they can see the other player. I'm sure Harbaugh will figure out something to do that. Be like, this is what we're going to do. Okay.
Spygate.
Did you see the plane that flew over the game again? Another spy plane that flew over the Michigan game and Michigan won. It was the stealth bomber. A stealth bomber went over the game and gave all the information to Jim Harbaugh.
Damn.
So
stealth bomber.
Yeah. I mean, that NIL money is definitely coming through, man. They can get stealth bombers out there now. Just go through a couple transfer portals. You make it quick milli, slide it over to the military base. Boom.
Yeah, Michigan. What do you think is going to win that game? Michigan. Obviously, you want Washington, right?
Oh yeah. They're still going to be the underdog because that's just the way it is this season. But they're looking good. I mean,
so what's funny is this year, right? You had a Pac-10 team versus a potential Pac-10 team, a future Pac-10 team. Sorry, a future Pac-10 team.
Big.
And then you had an SEC team taking on what are played.
Future SEC team. That's funny. I didn't even notice that. I mean, I did, but I didn't. That's crazy. So the Big Ten is going to be the Big 12 next season. So hold on a second. Because the Big 12 is losing teams, and the Big 10 is gaining teams. So the Big 12 is going to what? The Big 8, and then we're going to have the Big 12.
I'm not sure that, but it's crazy.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. I know whatchamacallit, Florida State. They're looking to go to the Big 10.
Florida State is suing the ACC.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, what happened to FSU, I know whatever you could say they lose, whatever, but at the end of the day, it's gonna hurt the ACC recruiting.
What, to sue them?
No. I'm talking about them snubbing FSU is gonna hurt the ACC recruiting trail. Because
do you think they were snubbed from what being?
Because like now players aren't going to want to go to the ACC.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, well, we're going to get snubbed. So what's the point of me? You know what I'm saying? Even if we go,
it's been going that way for a while, though. I mean, if it's Clemson has been keeping that conference alive. Miami hasn't done that well. FSU hasn't really done that well except for this season. And if it wasn't been Clemson has been the only team that's been keeping that conference alive. And they've had to be undefeated to get to a.
And here's the kicker. They were saying if FSU, now I love your dog, Ian. If Deion Sanders was the head coach at FSU, they would have gotten in. You know what I mean?
But that's yes, I agree with that, and I understand. But he's a force. But okay, Deion Sanders with the same record that FSU had, yes, then they would have got it. Yes, this is the way it is.
You know. I think
he's person of the year. Who made? I don't. Where did that come up? Because who else got snubbed? Georgia got snubbed, right?
Well,
you can say
because when they lost. Because of when
I know they lost, but if Deion Sanders,
when they got lost, I'm saying had Georgia lost like in the beginning of the season and won the ACC SEC championship, whatever, they would have been in. You know what I mean?
We have plenty of time to see how all this shakes up.
It's when they lost. Because Alabama could have been
when undefeated. They lost, right? Right, it's when they lost.
Alabama could have been undefeated, and if Georgia would have won, Alabama wouldn't have been in the playoff.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's crazy, but it's exciting. All right, so
I don't think there's going to be too many snubs next year because of that.
No, I think it's going to be a lot better. They're going to figure this out. They have to because this is their product on the field. They have to figure it out.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
You know, and I mean, the first season of NIL, it's kind of a mess, but it's like literally something that's never happened before in college football. So you set everything free, and there's gonna be a period of warming up to see how it works, and it's a step in the right direction. So that's all that really matters is that the step was taken, and now we just have to figure out how to make it work so that people aren't getting screwed over, people are playing fairly, people are competitive. Because I mean, ultimately, ticket prices. Viewership will go down if they don't fix it. And I won't have anything to complain about on my podcast. So, you know. All right, what we got next?
I hate the fact, I hate the fact that I live in Florida, right? And, none of the local teams are playing on local broadcasts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Lockout. Blackout.
Yeah, you either gotta have the SEC network or the ACC network.
Just to watch your team forfeit.
All I know is we got DJ Lagway. Gators are supposed to get an offensive coordinator, but we'll see how that goes.
We need a lot. Gators need a lot. All right, so what do we got?
The transfer portal. Actually, Florida's being aggressive in the transfer portal. I think that's why they lost a lot of recruits because I think they're gonna go via. Because here's the thing, I think the wave of the future for college is we'll let these other colleges recruit these 5 stars, let them get experience under the belt. We'll get transfer portals and get them, they get the more proven commodities because at the end of the day, they could be a 5-star and, not pan out, versus get somebody that's a good player on a team that's not really going anywhere and like, hey, we could take you to the next level. You know what I mean? And elevate that's how FSU did it. Went undefeated because they weren't getting a lot of 5-star recruits. how FSU built that undefeated team was via transfer portals. A lot of transfers.
I mean, that was 10 years ago now.
Hell, that's how the Hurricanes became the basketball team anyway. Was
I didn't know the transfer portal really existed before this year.
Wave of the future is Napier getting fired.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, NIL too. Yeah, I'm just saying, but I think they're gonna go more teams, because now you're getting again versus a player that's a 5C could be that doesn't translate in high school to the next level just because you're a 5-star. And one thing I learned from Dan Mullen said one thing that I like what he said is just because you have him at a 5-star doesn't mean I have him at a 5-star. Just because you have him at a 4-star doesn't mean I have him at a 4-star. It's all on. If you look at all the different rankings, all these players are ranked differently.
That's why they leave the team.
Huh?
That's why they leave the team, because they're not getting what they want. Get out of there.
So I think it more teams are going to start building through transfer portals instead of
good. Let them do it.
What's it called?
Recruiting. That is recruiting. You just do it digitally now. You don't have to drive to people's houses. Let's Google Meet. Transfer portal. Have you seen that commercial for Dr. Pepper? He's saying transfer portal. It's out of control. He's like, we're losing our defense. He's like, I'm not. He's like, you can't give him your Dr. Pepper. So he's like, nah.
But the thing about transfer portal is it's harder to you don't know when a guy is going to be transferring, whatever.
What do you mean?
Trevor Etienne went to freaking Georgia out of all places. I'm just glad he didn't go to any of our Florida team rivals. Trevor Etienne?
Yeah. But you said when. He's going to go right now. He's going to play there next season.
Yeah, he went to Georgia.
Right, but you just said a second ago that you don't know when the players are going to be transferred.
Yeah, but during the season, though.
Okay.
So you only have like a small window to recruit those guys. You know what I mean? So right now, I think the transfer. Well, I think they have one more wave before after spring. So after spring ball, I think they have one more wave of transfer portals, because spring ball they're gonna know. Okay, if I
like by the orange and blue game,
if I have a shot making it to the roster,
Yeah, like you mean by like the orange and blue game.
Yeah, pretty much. So
you're like, go to that game. You're like, go Gators. They're like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, we're it's Florida versus Florida.
Go Gators.
So what made you a Gator fan, by the way? If I'm just asking.
Family. My grandpa went to UW, and then my cousin's dad went to not UW, UF, and then my cousin's dad went to UF. I think that's it. So my mom is more of a Miami fan, way more of a Miami fan ever than Gators, but
Napier's gonna find a way to lose the orange and blue spring game. I mean, look, the thing about Napier is I think they want him to give him his play calling because he already has too many hats. He's the offensive coordinator, he's the quarterback's coach, and the head coach.
Why would you want all those jobs?
I don't know.
That sounds like way too much work. That's like trying to have a podcast, a music career, and an environmental science all in one person.
Yeah, but you know at least when to call timeouts and
Yeah, I'll let you know that I'm not going to make it.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, man. We there. I mean, there's so many little mental mistakes that.
But that's way too much. There's no way I would want to be the head coach and the offensive coordinator or defensive
and the quarterback's
coordinator.
coach.
You got to divvy that stuff up, man. You think Nick Saban would be as successful? He doesn't call the plays, I don't think, does he?
Yeah, he calls the plays.
Yeah, but hold on. There's a difference between calling the plays and being a coordinator.
Yeah, he's both.
Nick Saban is?
Who, Nick Saban?
Yeah.
No, Nick Saban doesn't call plays.
Oh, okay. Because I'm just comparing the two coaches. Like Billy Napier, I did not know he's an offensive coordinator, quarterback's coach, and the head coach. Why would you want? I wouldn't even want someone to be all those things.
Ego.
I mean, but what is a school? A school doesn't have. No, there's no ego there. The school is allowing him to have that position. His ego has nothing to do with it. And why? And do you think the school would have ego in somebody else? I don't even know if that's actually a thing. They have confidence, but they don't have ego.
Of course, he did it. He did it in the Sun Belt, but you what you did in the Sun Belt, you can't do in fucking the SEC.
No, you have to have a good coordinator. We've seen it. We've seen what happened. Nick's who was in? It was a championship game, and dang it, what is that head coach's name of FAU?
Willie Taggart?
No.
At that time?
No.
Willie Taggart was he got fired from FAU.
How is that guy even a head coach, dude? I've never seen him actually win.
After he coached FSU, he went to FAU and then got fired.
Man, he sucked at FSU. What's his name? He also coached Ole Miss. Oh, he might actually be the head coach right now. No, I'm not talking about Willie Taggart.
Oh.
Lane Kiffin.
Okay.
Lane Kiffin was at one time he was a head coach, and then he went to go be a coordinator for Nick Saban, and he won a championship, and then he left, and Nick Saban lost the very next season championship game.
Mm-hmm.
So what my point is that coordinators really, really, really matter.
Well, look at Nick Saban.
And Kirby Smart was a coordinator for Nick Saban.
Yeah, Nick Saban could be a defensive play caller if he wanted to, but he doesn't. He could be a defensive coordinator if he wanted to, but he doesn't. He's the head coach.
Yeah.
One of my things, one of my hopes was that we were to get a Jimbo Fisher. Because
there's no way he's going to go to Florida. There's no way.
I mean,
now that he is in the SEC, I could maybe see it because he's in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
But I can never see a FSU head coach go to UF. When would we? There's no way. There's no way, dude. There's no way. That's like Nick Saban going and head coach of Georgia. Even though the rivalry is the same as
hey, look, Muschamp went to Georgia as a defensive coordinator.
Now a coordinator, not a head coach.
That's something. No, I'm talking about Jimbo Fisher should be our offensive coordinator.
Oh, okay. I still don't see him going to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe start there and maybe build up to head coach. I think he should be a head coach. I don't think he should be a coordinator.
Who's gonna hire him though?
I don't know. But they're paying him a lot of money. He don't need to get hired. He's still getting paid.
That's true.
They have to pay it all, I think, at one time because they fired him. So I think they have to pay it all at once.
A buyout. They had to do the buyout. Just like we had to do the buyout for McElway.
Charlie Weiss is still getting paid from like 10, 15 years ago.
We all know McElway.
That picture. So hold on a second. Is that a real picture of him on the shark? Yeah, but doesn't mean he's naked.
No, I don't think that's him, but it looks like him though.
That looks really that. Have you seen the head coach of Arkansas? The guy that was in that accident. You know who I'm talking about? The head coach of Arkansas. Bobby Petrino. So pull up the picture of Bobby Petrino with the brace on his neck. And he was in that suspicious accident. There was some shady stuff going on, and he was in an accident. And it's like the most used picture of him on ESPN. Every time ESPN shows a picture of him, they always show. Dude, it's so funny because ESPN will troll people, and every time they show a picture of him, they show from the Sugar Bowl in 2000, I think 11.
Yeah, Arkansas, right? Razorbacks.
Yeah. So he got fired because he was involved with some shady stuff. But now he's the head coach again, like 12 years later. Dude, he was involved. Some shady stuff happened. It did, dude. It was shady. It was super shady, dude. Like hookers and stuff.
He has a 5G neck.
I don't like to make fun of people who get hurt, but he got hurt doing some shady stuff. So I'm gonna make fun of him. Oh, was that? Yeah,
Petrino's
but
coach was Lamar Jackson's coach in Louisville.
Yeah, but he was at Arkansas when that happened, though. That accident. I remember when Lamar was at Louisville. He was badass at Louisville. Yeah, you are. Yeah, but it's like freaking. It's almost midnight over there, man. I gotta give it up to y'all, man. Y'all are always up so late on this show. I have it so easy on. I have the easiest position on this podcast. I really do, and I'm very appreciative of that. Y'all put in a lot of work. Cat puts in a lot of work. He puts in a lot of work. You put in a lot of work. Color does. Ali does. HB does.
Oh, yeah, HB.
I mean, but I hold it down. I hold it down really good, and I promote very well too, and I try to have a good show. But y'all put in a lot of work, so I'm very appreciative of y'all. And if I couldn't do it if I was on the East Coast, I could only do this on the weekend. There's no way I could do this during a weeknight like y'all. So,
no, man. I remember watching you. I remember when you first started doing TMI Tuesday. It was just you in color.
In color.
Yeah, it looked like you froze. It looked like you and the dog about to kiss. Your screen froze.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, it was you when I first started watching you in TMI Tuesdays. It was just you in color.
Yeah, we were trying. We didn't know. Cap and I didn't know what we were going to do with the show. We were just trying to figure out ways to get me in, to have something legit with me involved, and it kind of just manifested itself, really. But it's good because, like the comment I got the other day, and then our last episode, 2 people said that they're going to come back, and we get people all the time on here saying that they love the show. So it's
like I said. I'm not gonna lie. The driving force, the driving factor to get me to watch TMI Tuesday was that right there.
The Dolphins. Or the Gators. Oh, yeah. Because I'm a Gators fan. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing you in the comments. You put like "Go Gators" or a whole bunch of alligators or something. But yeah, oh yeah, man, I remember. You were there. You were there pretty early on when we started. So
yeah, I remember the couple of times where we do open panels and you have on a Gator jersey. I'd go ahead and put. I just put my. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not gonna let you be alone. Just like if I was in a Gator chat room, right, and I seen somebody put on a dolphin, I'd put on the Dolphins gear stuff. So
absolutely. And you got one on right now. Did you buy that from the website or did you have that made?
No, I had it made. CTFTG.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm getting ready to buy some stuff off the website. They got some really nice stuff up there. I like one of the shirts. I think, what is it? One of the shirts that said like "Only Fins" or something, "Fins Up" or something. It's like the Only Fans. Oh man, I love that shirt. I need to get that shirt.
We're wearing this to the Buffalo game.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're going to that game, right?
Yep, with Lewis.
Man,
8:00 at night.
That game is gonna be crazy, dude.
I already put in my PTO time for Monday.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a lot. That's why I don't really go to a lot of NFL games because they're on Sundays and like it's just so much to go to those games. It's a lot. That's why I be going to college because it's on a Saturday. Because I can just, I don't know, I just enjoy myself better when I know I don't have to work the next day.
You want to hit the next topic?
Yeah.
I need a bedtime story myself.
Okay. So first off, I want to say rest in peace, Gangsta Boo. She died January 1st last year. Fentanyl was in whatever she was doing. It had fentanyl in it. Just wanted to bring some awareness to, this, oh, sorry, I messed that up. I'll do story time after this.
All right.
I had a personal friend die from fentanyl overdose. I know a couple other people have died from fentanyl overdose. It doesn't take much, but honestly, I think we should collectively stop doing any powdered. I've always stayed away from powdered substances my entire life. I've never been into powdered substances. They scare the hell out of me. And, fentanyl is in absolutely everything. And it takes about this much to kill you. And why drug dealers put it in their product, I don't know why. But we have the power to stop consuming those drugs. Powdered drugs. We have the power to stop doing it. And it doesn't look like fentanyl is going anywhere. And it kills people so easy. We just got to stay away from the drugs. I mean, just smoke some weed or drink kratom. Try kratom. Try kava. If you want to go to something that substantial to get to wherever you're trying to get to, try to find something else because you could potentially die over something that is so significant to the entire substance itself. Maybe 1% of that substance can kill you. It's not worth doing it. And then when people hear about if a drug is killing somebody, a lot of people want that drug. And it's very sad. It's a very tough road we have with this. But the power is in us to stand up against it and just stop consuming it. Because if we stop consuming it, then they'll probably stop putting fentanyl in everything. I'm not sure. But it's we're losing people too easily. We wouldn't have lost Mac Miller. We wouldn't have lost Gangsta Boo. We wouldn't have lost my friend Brett. We wouldn't have lost my friend's brother Ed. We wouldn't have lost a friend of TFTG. His name was Justin. I remember in 2013, Cap hit me up and said, "This is it, man. He's probably not coming back from this one." And just so you know, in Florida, if you are somewhere doing drugs and somebody starts overdosing, if you call the cops or the ambulance and save them, you will not have any charges against you for drug usage. That is a confirmed law in Florida. Because that's what happened to my friend Brett. The chick was with him, saw that he was overdosing, and she left. She could have called an ambulance and saved his life. But fled. don't be afraid to call for help because you're not going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
You should call for help anyways. But now you have more incentive. They don't ask. They want to say that it's more important to save the person. I promise you, it's more important to save the person. Buy some Narcan. You can get it. You can get it delivered for cheap.
But you know, they say the best way to avoid to survive an accident is not to get into one. So
Right. Well, speaking of that, let's go to story time.
Story time. Yeah, I need a bedtime story.
This will definitely hopefully this might keep you up. So January 5th, 2005, I was working a job that was 45 minutes away from where I lived. And I had to be there every day at 7 in the morning. And I was working 12 hours a day. So I was working 12 hours a day on top of driving an hour and a half round trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working construction. So I was really but I was 19. I was 18. I was 18. I was 18
right there.
So I could do it. I could work that much. It's not how much I was working, it's how long I spent driving to work every day and back.
Mm-hmm. You're freezing up.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So with my schedule, I got into a rhythm of going to sleep at red lights. And I would wake up from people honking at me to go.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was I was driving one day and I fell asleep at the wheel. And I drove off the road and I woke up. So I was it went from a 4-lane road to a 2-lane road. And so since I was in the 4-lane, I was off to the right. When the road got smaller, I stayed over on the right side because I just stayed going straight. So I woke up in the grass, driving in the grass, and I saw a bush hog, which is a piece of tractor equipment. It's called a bush hog. So I saw that. So I cut.
I was gonna say I used to like dating bush hogs, but go ahead.
So I cut the wheel to not hit the bush hog, but I still hit it, and I flipped my car. Okay.
Holy shit.
Do-doos, do-doos, do-doos. I rolled 3 times, and I had my seatbelt on. Let's say that I rolled this far, right? Here's where I landed. Here's where my sunroof was. So if I didn't have my seatbelt on, I probably would have fell out of the sunroof and maybe got crushed.
Damn.
Yeah. And I landed upside down. I had to press the button to unhook my seatbelt, and I fell to the roof of the car.
Nephew, my best friend's nephew, there was a SUV roll, and he rolled out he jumped through out of the sunroof and broke his clavicle.
So here's where things went good for me. I had my seatbelt on.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled against where I rolled with the car. So that means the car initially rolled on the right side where I was on the left. So that was another thing that helped. And 3, I was asleep, which is another thing that helped. 4, it was wintertime, so I had on long sleeves. So I woke up and I saw the thing, so I cut the wheel and I started rolling. But since I was still kind of disoriented, I didn't try to hold or freeze. I just went with the motion and I let the seatbelt take control. And I just rolled right? Shit's flying everywhere. But no matter what, 100%, if it wasn't for my seatbelt, I probably wouldn't have lived. Because, dude, I'm telling you, my sunroof was so far away from where I ended up, there's no way I would have not fell out of it. And every January 5th I always think about that story. Not so much that I survived something like that because I had my seatbelt on. That's why I survived. But just the rhythm I got into and how I got into that situation and what I had to learn to get out of it, because I never made that mistake again. And I was very happy for myself that I was smart enough to wear a seatbelt, because obviously I wasn't smart enough to not get into a rhythm. But I was working a very hard job, and it was just, I was fresh out of high school, and so it was just, I was in a new thing in life. So, but I always like to tell that story because I always remember it. It was Wednesday, January 5th, 2005. And I was perfectly fine. The only thing that hurt, like I got some glass that cut up my knuckles, but I had long sleeve. I was it couldn't have been any more in my favor. Plus, at the same time, I didn't hit anybody else. Because like I said, it went to a 2-lane road. Dude, the only reason I didn't hit anybody was because nobody was around. I would have hit somebody else too, and it would have been completely my fault. Like, everything was in my favor that day, dude, except for the accident. The accident was the only thing not in my favor. Everything else was. And that's why it's important to take care of yourself. Make sure that you have your ducks in a row, that things are lined up. So when something bad happens to you, you can be okay, whether it's financially or security, or in your seatbelt, or locking things up, or whatever it is. If you can do it and you know what's going to help you, do it. Because there was a time in my life when I didn't wear a seatbelt. And
yeah, I know what you mean.
It's you never know. You know what I mean? And
I remember a couple of years ago I got into I can't remember now, but it was a couple of years ago I got into a car accident. What's funny is that day I was like ready. I jumped out of the car, feeling good. I didn't feel a scratch. I'm like, I'm good. And then the next morning, man, my whole chest was on fire.
Yeah. The next day is always the worst after an accident.
Can we interview the dog?
Atlas, come here, Atlas. Come here. Yeah, that's a good boy. Say hi, Atlas. Say hi. Say hi, Atlas.
What's his name?
Atlas.
Atlas.
He's a wild boy. He'll whine all day long because he wants to go chase the birds. I'll let him outside, and he'll see birds real high in the sky, and he'll start jumping up, trying to get the birds. He's the most curious dog. He's so smart. He's so freaking smart, and he's so curious. He's always doing something. Like, it almost seems like, I remember when I was younger, when I would know dogs like him, I would think they were dumb because of the stuff they do, but it's because he's so smart that he's doing those things. And he needs a lot of attention. But his owners, Siley and Brandon, I've known Siley since 5th grade, and I've known Brandon since like middle schools. This is their house. They're away. They're on vacation somewhere. So they asked me to babysit the dog and stay here while I am house sitting. So I've been spending my time over here working in this lovely office, taking care of Atlas, just hanging out, really. So, and staying busy, really, really busy. But thanks for everyone. Let me check out some of these comments real quick about the accident. Dan said that crazy story. That's no. Look at Raphael Courtright. Damn. The things our military has had to go through. Like one goal of mine is to find a way to stop war, because it's just like, it's this stuff. This is an example why. Like, it's these things that people have to go through in these other countries. Thank you for your support. So you were in the Marines. I I had a close relative that was not a relative, but he was like an uncle to me. He was in the Marines. My brother's in the Army right now. He's been in the Army for
Yeah,
like 10
Crypto
years.
was in the Army.
Like 10
Crypto
years.
was in the Army.
He was he was stationed in Germany, actually. My friend Brett, who passed away, he was in the Navy. But I always support our military. I'm happy to have military in our comments tonight. Thank you for your support. And I'm glad that, you know, flipping a Hummer, but those are definitely a lot safer than a Saturn SL2. Pretty sure a Hummer could stand up to a beating a little bit more than my flexible, my plastic. Because, like she said, a Humvee, that's like the H1. That's like a tank. There's no sun. Do they have sunroofs? It's probably called like a military roof.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for everyone in the comments tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Shake, for
for sure
for putting it together for us tonight. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope you all enjoyed tonight's show. I try to give you something nice to listen to whenever you listen to it. 2 hours tonight. It's a good amount of
Crypto
time.
was in the Navy, and the he received 3 honorable discharges.
3 honorable discharges. How do you do that?
I don't know. I know he's in the Navy and the Army. I forgot what.
So he served in 2 branches? I've never heard of that either.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Why would
and he had to do he goes after he said it was crazy was this is from my I don't know is after he did the Army he had to go into the Navy boot camp. He had to go into the boot camp again for the Navy.
Yeah, because they're not that they don't even really communicate that much. It's like a whole different thing. That's crazy to have to go to 2 boot camps, but I mean, obviously you're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, man, 2 boot camps? That sucks. That's got to be weird vibes, though. Like, dude, I've already been here. You just saw me last year. Why are you screaming in my face?
Yeah.
I was in your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So that's true, Shake. Only Marines don't have to do different boot. Okay, so if I was in the Army, I could go to the Marines without boot camp. But if I went to the other 3 services,
I think
you have
if he
to
was
do
in the
boot camp
Marines
twice.
and he went somewhere else, he didn't have to do another boot camp. Maybe.
Only Marines don't have to do different boot camps.
Mm-hmm.
But the Marines, but the Navy owns the Marines. I mean, like is an entity.
No, I know that. No, I know. Was it the Air Force? No, the Navy SEALs maybe is. I don't know.
Well, that's like saying an Army Ranger. You know, that's a whole different level of. You know, they do Navy SEAL training out here. I was doing it's called a passive house. So a passive house basically is super insulated, and passive means that it operates with less electricity than a lot of other houses. And so it passively it's you kind of use the heat, like you use the earth to operate these houses. It's called a passive house. And I was way out in it's called Anacortes. It's how you get way out to the San Juan Islands out here in Washington State. And where I was at this house, you could see these couple little islands and like you could see a path. And I was like, I was talking to the owners. I was like, yo, actually, because they were talking, they mentioned the path. I was like, yeah, I was actually thinking about driving my car over there and go checking that out. They're like, no, you don't want to go over there. I'm like, why? They're like, because that's where they do military training. Like you could get in a lot of trouble. I was like, I almost kind of want to go more now. But like, I think they said like they could shoot me. So I was like, I'm good. Like they train dolphins and stuff there. Well, I don't think dolphins exist out here, but they train. I know they do something with like animals out here. And they do a lot of the training out here because it's probably the best water to get trained in is cold water. You know, he's going to be fine in warm water. We need to make sure he could do it in cold water. Raphael, I'm not sure. I've never tried to do that. Maybe that would be in the library. I came out in local. What do you mean? What do you mean? I came out in local newspaper a while in Japan. What did? Oh, the Illuminati owns the Marines. Well, the Illuminati, now we're going down this rabbit hole. The Illuminati almost got stopped by Donald Trump. You know that? Mm-hmm. And I'm not this is not a support for Donald Trump. I'm just stating facts. So, all right. So if you know that the Illuminati owns the Marines, then who is Q? I'll believe you when you say the Illuminati owns the Marines when you tell me who Q is.
Q, he's a Steelers fan.
Because the Navy owns the Marines. But I'm always down to have conversations like this. We might even have to have Raphael on one time. I want to hear more about that. Come on.
I actually had him on a show one time, but he rarely comes on, man.
So
rarely.
Raphael, find me on Instagram, Tonk7. Send me that information, dude. I want to read about it. Because I know Cap. I'm telling you right now, if you say that around Cap, he's gonna freak out and he's gonna want to know. Cap loves stuff like that. He would love to know how the Illuminati owns the Marines. I'm telling you right now, say that to Cap and you'll see his ears flap up. He'll look like Atlas when I say you want to go out. The United Nations, they don't own nothing, dude. They can't even. The United Nations just said that Putin is a war criminal and they put out a warrant for his arrest. Who's going to go arrest Putin? Because of what he did to children with transporting them out of Ukraine. They put a warrant out for his arrest, the United Nations. So, but who's going to go arrest him?
No, that's right.
So what do they own if they can't even get Putin arrested? However, there was another head of state like Putin that had a arrest warrant out for him, and they actually did arrest him. But how they did it was when he went to another country, that's how they did it. But Putin's not going to leave Russia. He's not going to. Are you kidding me? Why would he leave the biggest country in the world? He's a good boy. All right. Good show tonight. I think those conversations woke up Shake a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Shake things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But thank you to everyone in the comments. Like, share, comment, save, repeat. Check out the website. Check out the website. We got some really cool stuff on there. I'm gonna buy some stuff here soon.
And that apron.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, I'm telling y'all, we got some cool stuff on there. It's really cool. And
like these
because we go green, baby. We Gators or Dolphins, we going green.
I immediately regret this decision.
And I hope to see y'all again. I like interacting in the comments. Thank you, everyone who comment tonight. Raphael, Scummy.
Pardon the interruption. We are anonymous. It has been brought to our attention that your channel has brought together some of the truest Dolphins fans. Yet now, more than ever, the fan base is divided. Half blame the quarterback for the season's outcome, the other half blame the offensive line.
We got hacked by talking about aluminum.
That's HB in the background, trying not to tell us who he is. All right. Oh yeah, we're gonna get Epstein's flight list released soon.
Damn.
I don't know how much of a difference it's gonna make, really. I mean, are they gonna do anything about it?
Nope. All we could say is read that list and look at all those names and just say,
You bastards! You vicious, heartless bastards!
What was that? What was that show? I can't remember the name of it. Some flying circus or something.
yeah, you bastards. I don't know. That was funny as hell. You got all the good memes here, man.
No!
That's
Thank you.
that's all leave when at the end of Ohio State Michigan game.
Yeah, that's gonna be Ali when Michigan was the world. Hey, before I go, I want you know what trips me out is Ross's college team has won a playoff game before his professional team did.
What team does he own? Well, he can't own a college.
No, his college alumni. You know he has a business school of Ross. So
what school though?
Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ross, by the way, he got his undergrad in Florida and then his master, his grad he got his, degree at Michigan.
And then they have a course on him now.
Yeah, the business school of Ross in Michigan.
That's crazy.
He donates a lot of money there.
Yeah, definitely does. He's probably who paid for Harbaugh to fly all those people around.
Yes, because see, the thing about it was the excuse he gave not to hire Harbaugh was because he didn't want to take Harbaugh away from Michigan. He didn't want to be the one to take Harbaugh away from Michigan.
And we need a new owner then.
Yeah, the college team won a playoff game before his pro did. And it's harder to win it's harder to win a college, make to the college playoffs, let alone, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's only 4 teams that get in.
So
well, we'll see. We'll see this season. He's got 2. At least both his made it to the playoffs, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but I didn't know that. He definitely donates a lot. Those universities get a lot of money donated to him.
Right, he's a big contributor to what they call the backers, whatever.
Boosters,
yeah.
The Green Bay Backers.
Hell yeah.
All right.
All right, man. So y'all ready? You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Peace.
Have a nice
Go
night.
Gators, baby.
Go Gators.